It may not be among the world's largest car makers, nor a renowned truck maker, but Subaru has a pretty long history in making small pickups, and that's why everyone expects to see it competing in the newly established segment of compact unibody pickups. The new model is expected to come with a familiar moniker that was used decades ago, and to overshine competitors in many aspects. Therefore, stay with us as we're going to check how Subaru BRAT is worth waiting for these 7 huge reasons. Number 7. Standard all-wheel drive. Small unibody pickups come with many benefits in terms of ride quality and overall comfort, but they also come with a big drawback that limits their capabilities, off-road performance, and the overall level of utility. Namely, both Maverick and Santa Cruz are based on crossovers and feature a front-wheel drive setup. If you opt for all-wheel drive, you get a heavily FWD bias system that may be helpful on slippery surfaces and during light off-roading, but definitely can't provide the level of performance you would normally expect from a pickup. That's where the new BRAT is about to shine, because like most other Subaru models, this one will also be built as an AWD vehicle from scratch. So all models will feature the company's legendary symmetric all-wheel drive as standard, which in practice means so many benefits. This system, which permanently sends power to all wheels, is what makes Subaru vehicles special. A perfectly positioned engine and equal half-axles ensure ideal weight distribution, while the so-called X model has the ability to send torque to the wheels with the most traction. In practice, this means that the new BRAT would feature better handling and better off-road performance than rivals, while we may also expect to see superior towing capacity compared to base, front-wheel drive variants of the Maverick and Santa Cruz. Number 6. Boxer engines. Like any other Subaru, the new Subaru BRAT would come with a boxer engine. That may be seen as a drawback to some, due to a little bit more complicated maintenance and a little bit higher fuel consumption compared to more conventional engine designs, but it's also a big advantage. Namely, we already talked about the position of the engine placement in Subaru vehicles, which ensures perfect mass distribution, but that's just one part of this story of benefits. A boxer engine also sits much closer to the ground compared to transversely mounted engines found in rival models, which also means a much lower center of gravity. As you might presume, this reflects in less body lean in corners and better handling in general, while also allowing the use of softer suspension. The latter means that the BRAT has the potential to be not just better to drive, but also more comfortable than the competition. Speaking of the engine choice, there are a few potential candidates for the place under BRAT's hood. The first unit that comes to mind is a good old 2.5-liter flat 4 with a max output of 182 horsepower and 176 pound-feet of torque. In order to offer a little bit better fuel efficiency and a more convenient ride, the Japanese company could offer a newer 1.8-liter Turbo 4 instead. This engine puts out 175 horsepower but offers notably more torque, 221 pound-feet. Finally, we think there's also a chance for a performance-oriented model, which would come with a 2.4-liter Turbo 4, which is good for quite an impressive 260 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque. Number 5. Compact design. The Subaru BRAT will join the segment of compact pickups. But, in a truck world, compact looks a little bit different compared to SUVs and other passenger cars. These vehicles still feature around 120 inches in wheelbase and 200 inches in length, which is something you would normally expect from a full-size crossover. If you wonder why we are talking about all this, it's because the latest research shows that a solid number of small pickups are non-traditional truck drivers. They simply like the idea of having an open cargo area without sacrificing ride quality. But for many of them, such proportions take time to get used to. That's why we think that the Subaru's pickup might be an advantage, at least in the eyes of these non-traditional truckers, because this pickup is expected to feature a notably smaller size compared to the Maverick and Santa Cruz. In practice, this means it would be easier to drive, especially when it comes to maneuvering in tight spaces. The Subaru BRAT is expected to feature a wheelbase of around 110 inches, while the total length probably won't go over 185 or 190 inches, and that makes a big difference among non-experienced truck drivers. Number 4. Off-road performance. We already talked about the benefits of Subaru's famous all-wheel drive system, and one of them is definitely the off-road potential. This system by itself provides excellent traction, but we have no doubt that the Japanese manufacturer would offer a dedicated off-road version as well, just like it did with most SUVs in the lineup. Of course, we are talking about the BRAT Wilderness, a trim level that would bring a good portion of off-road upgrades. If you look at the rest of the lineup, Wilderness models are easy to recognize by massive cladding, so we presume that the BRAT would get a similar visual treatment, with lots of black plastics that accentuate the model's off-road nature. But this model won't be just about aesthetics. We also count on notable suspension upgrades, with new components and notably higher ground clearance. Some sources suggest it could go up to nearly 10 inches. Of course, things that go with raised clearance are improved approach and departure angles, while we also expect to see all-terrain tires and similar things. Also, let's not forget that Subaru models traditionally feature higher ground clearance than their respective counterparts, so the same should be the case with this one. In other words, base BRAT models will most likely feature higher off-road potential than base versions of Maverick, Santa Cruz, and other upcoming small pickups. Number 3. Safety features. We don't look at small pickups like utility vehicles. No, most of us look at them as versatile family cars that can serve many purposes, including daily commuting and family journeys. And for that reason, we expect them to be safe. At the moment, that's one of the main complaints we have about the Ford Maverick, which isn't particularly generous with standard driver assistance features. Subaru, on the other hand, traditionally stands pretty well in this aspect, so we presume that the BRAT will be on Santa Cruz's side in this aspect, rather than Maverick's. Base models should come with all kinds of latest advanced safety systems, including forward collision warning, automatic emergency braking, pedestrian detection, lane departure warning, lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, lane centering assist, adaptive headlights, automatic high beams, and many more. But we should also see a couple of available upgrades, such as blind spot monitoring and rear cross traffic alert. The list of options should also include goodies like reverse automatic emergency braking, evasive steering assist, driver attention monitoring, and many more. Number 2. Practical and flexible interior. We love Subaru vehicles for many reasons, and interior practicality is among them. Namely, this manufacturer has always been generous with passenger and cargo space, as well as all kinds of practical solutions, including numerous storage compartments, cup holders, and similar things. So we expect nothing different from the BRAT. But as a pickup, this model will have to elevate to the next level, especially when it comes to the cargo space. As mentioned, the BRAT will most likely be shorter than the competition, which indicates a shorter cargo bed as well. If we consider that the Maverick is good for about 4.5 feet, while Hyundai's pickup features a 4.3-foot cargo bed, it's quite obvious that Subaru's bed will hardly be longer than 4 feet. That's why the Japanese carmaker will have to play smart to compensate for the lack of space. And the one thing that comes to mind is a flexible cargo bed design, something Subaru is offering in the old Baja pickup. In that model, the tailgate was able to fold down, along with the rear seats. Therefore, also a bed extender. So the Baja was actually able to accommodate objects that were 2 times longer than the cargo bed itself. Logically, something similar could be offered with the new BRAT to increase its functionality and practicality. But the BRAT would also offer a high level of comfort and convenience. Times when Subaru models were characterized by cheap plastics and other low-rent materials are long gone. Modern Subarus feature quality materials and a long list of tech and convenience features, including large screens, advanced infotainment systems, and all kinds of connectivity features. This pickup shouldn't be any different. Number 1. Price. Finally, there is the matter of price. The Japanese manufacturer has always been able to form a competitive price, despite the obviously more complex design that includes standard all-wheel drive and a long list of standard safety features, among other things. So we presume that the new pickup won't be any different. It should come with a competitive sticker price, which would most likely be on par with the Maverick, which will cost around $25,000 with the Turbo 4 engine and around $26,500 with a hybrid powertrain for the 2024 model year. If priced similarly, the new Subaru BRAT has a big chance to become one of the most important players in the segment. Thanks for watching. See you next time.